Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Chelsea if you're new here. If you're not, welcome back. The last video I posted was a pregnancy announcement. So if you haven't seen that, go take a look. I just wanted to say thank you for all the positive comments and vibes. We are very excited. A little backstory before we get into the video for today. I am 34 years old. I had Trayson, our oldest, who is 10 and a half. I had him at, I think I had just turned 25. Yeah. And then I had Skylar 2.5 years later. So I think I had just turned 27, 28. I don't know. I had him 2.5 years later. We had a miscarriage in between those boys. And then we got married about 10 months later after I had Sky. We wanted and tried for another baby for a long time. I did the normal charting of my period, trying to figure out my ovulation. I went to my general doctor and discussed my concerns with her about not getting pregnant and my past miscarriage. She was hopeless. She didn't even know what ovulation tests were, the strips. She was super old school, and she's like, I just take my temperature every morning. I'm like, okay, that's not how it works all the time. So I went to my OB, expressed my concerns to her about it had been a couple years of on and off hardcore tracking. I never had a positive pregnancy test. And then she wrote me a script. I'm not sure of the medical terminology, but I had my uterus, I had dye sent all up in my uterus, and to see if my fallopian tubes were open or if they were blocked. They were completely open. Everything looked good. And so the next step was to have blood work done. I had blood work done. I was healthy. Didn't have any thyroid issues. Everything seemed fine. The next step after that was to have my husband's sperm tested and to get on medication like Clomid or some other kind of fertility meds and start monitoring and do all that. And Jarek and I kind of talked about it. He was really hesitant about getting his sperm checked. He's like, I'll do it if you really want me to, but I think guys are pretty maybe self-conscious about that. Having to go beat it in a cup in a doctor's office is probably not their most exciting thing to do. And so, but more so me, I didn't want to be on fertility meds. I've known a lot of people that have been on them, and while they have been amazing, they've gotten them pregnant, there's a lot of side effects that come with them, and depression, and just sad stuff that comes along with it. And for myself, I knew that I didn't want to be on this medication to have a third baby. It just wasn't on my heart. It wasn't something that it's not that I didn't want it bad enough, but I didn't want to be on these meds. I didn't want to see how I would be personally. And so I kind of just made the decision that if it happens, it happens. I stopped tracking. We never got the sperm sample, and I never went on meds. And then it had been a couple years, and I have suffered with migraines, horrible migraines, since I was probably 17. They also run in my family on my mom's side. I had told myself for 2020, one of my goals was to work on my health and work on my migraine and hormonal health. So I have low progesterone. I can't say that. I have low of it. 2020 started. I made an appointment with this new doctor. I went to him and found out I was pregnant a week before. And he said, that's okay. We can still work on your migraines. Your hormones are obviously going to be different because you're pregnant, but we can get those under control after you have the baby. But he took my blood and he was like, hey, your progesterone is very low. You really need to call your OBGYN. And I was like, okay. And then a week later, I started bleeding. I called my OB and I was like, hey, I think I'm miscarrying. Can I come in? I have a history of miscarrying and I had to go to the hospital last time, and I just want to make sure it's April of 2020 that I don't have to go to the ER with a whole like pandemic going on. And they said, sorry, we're only seeing viable pregnancies right now. Cool. So I found another OB. She saw me. She said, yes, you're miscarrying. You don't need to go to the hospital for it. You've almost like finished it. You can finish it at home. I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate you. After that, I was pretty upset. It was surreal that I got pregnant after 7 years since I had Sky, and probably about 5 years of like on and off trying. I kind of stopped and like came to the realization that it's okay a couple years ago, and I was very like happy, like we're good, like I'm okay mentally, I'm like really okay. So I told myself I'm still gonna focus on my mental health. I'm gonna focus on my hormones and my migraines. I went in for a yearly pap smear that I always do because I have abnormal pap smears, and I think it was June I went in. They called and said it looked really abnormal. They wanted me to come back and do biopsy. And I was like, okay. I never had to have one before, and I always have abnormal pap smears. I went in for the biopsy. It took a couple weeks. It came back, and it was like a level 3 or 4. And that means that there is so much abnormalities that they needed to remove it. So I was pretty stressed out thinking I had cervical cancer. So I had surgery August 26th, I think, somewhere at the end of August. 10 days for the results to come back. That was strenuous. And results came back negative. Nothing, it just was like a lot of abnormal cells. And my follow-up for 2, 4, and 6 weeks, everything was good. I healed perfectly. In October, I literally was like, I'm pregnant. Like, I could feel it. I just knew it. And I took a test in November and I was pregnant. And it's pretty crazy. And that kind of like catches you up to where the video will start. So these are as much as I could film from the time I found out I was pregnant to about 12 weeks. I have been very, very sick in that time frame. Just complete fatigue, super nauseous. Thankfully, I wasn't actually throwing up, but I was just like on edge, sleeping, attempting to eat, and trying to homeschool and work at home. So it was a very uneventful and stressful time because I was still worried if we would miscarriage or not. So that will put you from the day I found out until 12 weeks. So hope you enjoy this footage, and I'm glad I have it, even if it's not the prettiest stuff to watch. Okay. Try not to look at it. Hope it didn't have pee. Or maybe it needs to be flat. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I need to go wake Jared up. He's sleeping. Okay, so I bought these tests like, no, not even like 2 weeks ago because my boobs It is the 30th of November. I'm officially, 6 weeks and 4 days, 3 days. I am officially further in this pregnancy than I was in April. Almost didn't want to say that out loud because of the stress that's going to give me if anything happens, but I've just kind of come to realize that like everything's out of my control. What's in my control is what I put in my body for food, for water, for vitamins, what I mentally have in my headspace. That's what I can control. I can't control anything else. I've been waiting to call my doctor to make an appointment because I've just been nervous. I make the appointment for an ultrasound and then nothing, like something happens. So anyways, I called. I told them my history of my miscarriages and my surgery. And I have an appointment for next Tuesday. So I'll be like 7.5 weeks then, almost 8. So today is December 4th. I am 7 weeks today. You know, this is 7 weeks, but it's also what I've probably looked like the past year. So not that different. I have my appointment on Tuesday, so I'll be like 7.5 weeks. I have an ultrasound and then a meeting with the doctor after. I'm just like hoping everything goes good. I still feel very pregnant, very tired, nauseous. My boobs are massive. I'm crabby. I'm emotional. Those things aren't very new. I'm always like kind of crabby and emotional, but yeah. So it is 9:30, December 8th. I'm walking into my appointment. I'm feeling 2 things. One, I feel like shit. I'm having really bad morning sickness, but yesterday was like all day, and I feel like that is right now and it's starting, and I really hope it's not all day again. But I'm feeling good because I feel the morning sickness. I never had morning sickness with either of the boys, but I know it's always a good sign because it means, or usually means that you're pregnant, you have a viable pregnancy. Anyways, I gotta get in and check in. But yeah, so here we go. I'm so nervous.
Just turn it back a second. I can see it.
I'm back in bed, working. I had Derek make me a grilled cheese sandwich because I'm starving and out of breath. Baby looks good. Baby is measuring exactly where they should be based on my last period. My cervix looks really good. I feel like shit, if you can't tell by the way I look. But that is the update. I'm trying to eat, but I'm not doing very good at it, to be completely honest. Yeah. It's Friday, good morning. It's not good morning, I don't know why I say good morning. I'm just still in bed, working, really tired. It's almost 2, I have a big meeting at 2, so Jared brought me a little snack up here, because he's the best. And a root beer that none of us need. Today is 8 weeks, I'm feeling good. I was spotting a little yesterday. I think it's just from the checks that I had. I had a bunch of different like stuff done at the ultrasound, some swabs and blood and all that taken. So I think it was just from that. I'm struggling. I don't feel good. But also, yes. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Ugh. It is January 5th. I just pulled up to my doctor. I have about 5 minutes before I can go in. I have my 12-week ultrasound appointment. I don't know if they do an ultrasound today because I just had one last week. I think they're taking blood today. I don't really remember. I've been here so much. Like so much. Honestly, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go in and check on this baby. Good morning. I am 12 weeks today. I'm feeling kind of large today. I feel bloated though, honestly, like I need to poop or something. When you have been pregnant like 5 times now, so I think my body just like falls out. But everyone looks different at 12 weeks. When I was 12 weeks with Trayson, you didn't even know. I didn't even know, to be honest. So thank you so much for watching. Currently, I am 15 weeks right now, like filming this outro. I'm feeling a lot better. I am mentally in a better space. I'm getting sleep. I'm not so tired. Yeah, I feel really good. I still am on edge a little bit about everything going on, and I have to have bi-weekly exams to make sure that my cervix is still good, so I'm a little still on edge about that, but everything is going really well. I'm excited now that I'm in the 2nd trimester and just keep trucking along. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to turn the bell on for notifications whenever I post, I'm trying to become more regular now that I'm feeling better. You can subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.